Hello, Alexander. I've got your post up here, and I've got your ad here. I'm going to go ahead and open this ad in a separate window so we can take a look. And right now, I want to address your writing. And thank you for this detailed written observation based on your experience with this project so far. It's really important. And you'll hear me say this many, many times in critique and many times. It's so important for students to include their experience, their written experience, because it really tells us as instructors, it tells us where you're at in your understanding and your proficiency level and how your approach is. And is it a good approach? Is your conceptual development sound? Is your methodology adequate? Et cetera, et cetera. So I find out, I learn a lot about students' workflow when I read their observations. So thank you. Please keep these coming. I mean, you should really, really do this for every assignment that we submit. So let's go ahead and address your comments. Select pictures I thought would represent honeymoon romantic getaway. That's great. Mass picture of a couple on a beach. Use my foreground. That's great. Use the ocean and the beach huts to show relaxing atmosphere and represent the client's appeal to the viewer. Absolutely. When deciding on layout, I wanted to keep things balanced. I want to address this right here. Balanced and symmetrical to create natural line to guide the viewers down the page. Okay, and I've got the ad open right here, and this is what you're talking about, right? You're talking about this symmetry right here. Center aligned, two columns, okay? Remember this because it's important. In design, symmetry is very rarely the most engaging solution. As a matter of fact, it almost is never the most engaging solution. We have what's called negative space in design, and negative space refers to the space that's around the elements. Okay, symmetry does this. It creates equal and even and symmetrical negative space. I should say symmetry in typography. So center aligned typography, we have this center line, so we can see that the negative space around center alignment is symmetrical. And as I just said, symmetry is very rarely an engaging solution in graphic design. Therefore, I recommend, well, I'll make my recommendations in a second, but I want to go back to your writing. Looking at this draft now, I think the ad would be a benefit highlighting the package deal. I think that it's text heavy, and I'll talk about that as well. I placed it into my text. I think it would benefit more dominant on the page. I agree. I also plan to add some lines and framing to highlight the text and make it stand out. I disagree. I disagree. The text is there. The viewer is going to read the text. A lot of young designers and design students want to highlight the text, place boxes around it, underline it. It's not necessary. Viewers are very much in tune to going to the text, so you don't have to try to say, hey, I'm text, I'm over here. Okay, keep that in mind. Looking at, okay, but somehow I completely forgot to add the contact. Yeah, I was going to mention that. That's really, I'm going to tell you what, Alexander, you'd be surprised at how many students don't put the address in the magazine ad. So yeah. All right, let's go to this rendering. I think it's a little bit easier to see in this particular case. And I've got this to fit in the window. So, all right, I think it's a good ad. I think it's relatively simple, which is important. Let's start with the image. The background image, I think, is washed out. I really do. I think we can see a lack of detail in the highlight areas here in the foreground. There's really no contrast associated with this image. I recommend pumping some contrast into this image, and I think the best way to do that would be to go into the levels adjustment. Levels are curved. Levels is more intuitive, so I would recommend doing a levels adjustment layer. Take a look at those video tutorials. I mean, there's a couple. They're really fantastic. I mean, a couple of those go into the tutorial with the what was it? The snow scene, and what was the other one? I think it was a mountain scene. But the snow scene indicates really problematic adjustments, and I go into how to adjust based on our RGB channels. So you're not just doing a global adjustment, you're actually going into each individual channel, making adjustments for it so that the global outcome is gorgeous. So take a look at that. I think that this background image could certainly use a little pump in contrast. Okay. I recommend, if we have Arial headline, Arial bold, then Arial regular. So headline is Arial, headline is Arial bold, subhead Arial bold italic, and then Arial bold, Arial regular for the body copy. Okay. So we need to figure out where you're going to put your contact information, because right now this is a tough area. You can't place it right here, and you may consider spanning across the bottom since you have room with the placement of the logo. I think that might be a good way to go. Now, what I would recommend at that point is you can do one of two things, and I would recommend this. Okay, let's take these two columns of type and let's edit those into one column of type. All right, what I would recommend is this: is let's come over here. See her shoulder right there? Follow that line right up, left align that Enjoy Paradise, left align right there, in alignment with her shoulder. So you draw a guide right there. There's your left margin. Okay, then take the subhead and place it under the headline, left align. So headline, subhead fits right here. Then we'll come over here and place the body copy right here. I would take the headline and move it up, the subhead, move it up closer to the headline. We'll get those in proximity because they have a direct relationship with one another, right? So again, left align, move the subhead up. That's going to give you a chance to move this body copy up right here. You should be able to fit your body copy nicely right there. The reason I would say place it there is because right now you got a lot of visual weight over here. There's a little bit less visual weight over here, but by placing type on this side of the composition, so if we were just left align this all the way down like this, place the body copy right there, I think we'd be a little bit out of balance. You can try it, see how it feels, but I would recommend, and if you don't like the way that feels, then just go ahead and place that body copy over here, or even closer to, a little closer to the center, but maybe right here, something like that. Okay, address, we talked about that. Where can I go from here? Boy, I'm going to get you on a technicality here, only because there's nothing wrong with this, okay? This is an introductory class, but I'm going to get you on a technicality, and this kind of points to some considerations in graphic design, specifically when you're montaging or creating composite work with different images. Check the light source. We can see the light source in this is the sun is up here somewhere, and we can see that by this shadow right here. There's not a whole lot of indication of shadow here, but it looks like this shadow, boy, it's hard to say. The sun is either above or over here somewhere, but the sun is not over here. In the masked image, the sun is over here, right? So we've got conflicting light sources. As I said, boy, I just noticed something. That's a tough call. I'm seeing a little bit of shadow. That's not shadow, though. That's water reflection off the bottom. So, yeah. So, you know what? I'm looking at a shadow right now where we can see, look at the stairs in the foreground right there and right there. This sun in this image right here is up here somewhere. The sun in this image is over here somewhere, as we can see by the shadow. So as I said, I'm just getting out of technicality because I want you to think about things like that moving forward. No sense in changing the image now unless you really want to. But it's a technicality, and I think it's minor at this point. So anyways, great job. Listen, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know. But I would say, one thing, so see this little white sliver right here? Watch your bleed. Are you running a bleed? If you are, that's weird. I mean, that could be a rendering, a JPEG rendering. This is a JPEG, right? That could be a JPEG rendering. But you want to check that. You definitely want to check that. And again, that's right over here. You can see that little white sliver right there. So if you're not running your bleed, you definitely want to. Okay. Very good job. I'd like to see those changes implemented for your final magazine ad. If you would like to run those changes by me, resubmit here, or get email me, whatever you want. I mean, if you make changes and want me to look at it and comment, I'm more than glad to do so. So whatever is convenient for you is convenient for me. All right. Okay, questions, let me know. Great job. Good start. Thank you very much.